Tim Curry has died. He was 80, and you already know which image is going to be everywhere. 1975. The corset, the heels, the smeared red lipstick, one eyebrow up, staring down the camera like it owed him money. Here's the thing nobody tells you about that image. The film it comes from was a flop, not a modest disappointment. A genuine, embarrassing, pulled from cinema's failure. And so was the other film you love him for. And so, more or less, was the third one. Almost nothing Tim Curry is remembered for actually worked when it came out. So what happened? Let's start in Grappenhall in Cheshire, in 1946. His father was a Methodist chaplain in the Royal Navy. His mother was a school secretary, and that is a very particular kind of English childhood. Respectable, careful, watched. He sang as a choir boy, which means the first audiences of his life were congregations, and the first thing he ever learned to do on a stage was be sincere in front of people who were not there to be entertained. His father died when he was 12. He went to the University of Birmingham and read English and drama and graduated in 1968, and at that point the path in front of him is extremely obvious. He is a trained classical actor with a remarkable voice. He is exactly what the Royal Shakespeare Company orders by the dozen. He could have spent 40 years in doublet and hose being respectable, and he would have been very good at it. Instead, his first professional job was the West End production of Hair, the loud one, the naked one, the one your parents disapproved of. That tells you everything. Given a choice between respectable and alive, he picked alive every single time for 60 years. Now, 1973. There is a room above the Royal Court Theatre in London. 63 seats. That is not a theatre. That is a living room with ambition. And in that room, in June, a new show opens, and Tim Curry walks out as a character nobody has ever seen before. Frank-N-Furter. And this is the decision that makes the whole career, because that part is a trap. It is a man in a corset in a comedy horror musical, and there is one obvious way to play it, which is to play it as a joke, to let the audience know that you know it's ridiculous. Wink at them. Stay safe. He doesn't wink. He plays it completely, absolutely straight. He plays Frank-N-Furter as the most confident, most reasonable, most magnetic person in any room he walks into. Not a man in a costume, a man who is entirely correct and cannot understand why everyone else is dressed so badly. Total conviction, no apology, no escape hatch. Then they make the film for about $1.2 million, and it comes out in 1975, and it dies. Audiences don't come. It gets pulled. And here is where it gets strange. In April of 1976, a cinema in Greenwich Village called the Waverly starts showing it at midnight. And people come. And then they come back. And then they come back dressed as the characters and start shouting lines at the screen and throwing things and acting it out in front of the picture while it plays. That never stopped. 50 years later, it is still running, the longest continuously running theatrical release in the history of film. A flop that simply refused to die because a few hundred people in a basement cinema decided it belonged to them. And it works because he isn't winking. If he had played it as a joke, you could laugh at it once and leave. He played it like it mattered, so you could come back 1,000 times. He kept doing exactly this. He went to Broadway and played Mozart in Amadeus and got a Tony nomination for it. He made Clue in 1985, which also flopped, and which is now quoted by people who weren't born when it came out. In 1990, he played Pennywise with barely any prosthetics on him at all. It is essentially a man in face paint doing a voice. And he frightened an entire generation of children so thoroughly that some of them still won't look at a storm drain. And then he did something a lot of great actors never manage. He let go of his face entirely. He became one of the finest voice actors alive. A cartoon father with an enormous mustache, a pollution demon in a rainforest, an emperor in a galaxy far away. 3 Tony nominations across 25 years. Mozart, then My Favorite Year, then King Arthur in Spamalot. in July of 2012, at his home in Los Angeles, he had a major stroke. It left him partially paralyzed and using a wheelchair, and for a while it took his speech. He got the voice back, and he went back to work. Cartoons, records, conventions, a room full of people in corsets who wanted to tell him what the film had done for them. He died at his home in Los Angeles on Tuesday at 80. So here's what to keep. He was a chaplain's son with a classical training and a voice that could have made him respectable anywhere, and he spent his life on material that other people thought was beneath them. And he refused, absolutely refused, to look down on any of it. He put on the heels in a 63-seat room and played it like it was Shakespeare. That's the whole trick. Not that it was a joke everyone was in on, that he never once told it like one.